Alright, what is going on, guys? So, Act 6, Chapter 4 comes out tomorrow, Wednesday the 11th. Recording this on Monday the 9th, but yeah, it should be uploaded on Tuesday when you're watching this, hopefully. And so I did this for Act 6, Chapter 3 as well. So we're just going to go over the bosses because I have probably some of the most experience outside of the people that work for Kabam with 6.4, just because I was in the beta and I actually live stream every single quest. I pretty much 100%ed Act 6 Chapter 4 already in the beta for fun, essentially. I didn't get any rewards or anything from it, just for fun, just something to stream and a little bit of practice as well. And yeah, I gave my feedback, so I hope they made a couple of the changes that me and other people requested. So we're talking about the bosses. So we can only talk about 5 bosses, but I'll do a little something for the last one. As you can see, it's coming soon. That's going to be the Grandmaster, of course. But I haven't done that fight. There was a separate beta test for him, but I was not invited to that, so I've never fought the Grandmaster. I have no experience with him whatsoever, but there are some data mine abilities of his, so we'll talk about that a little bit at the end. But I want to focus on my experience and everything like that, because then I can give actual good advice. So we'll start with Iceman here. He's the first one up. Then we'll talk about Thor Ragnarok, Darkhawk, Captain Marvel, and the Hydra Adaptoid, and then yeah, a little bit about the Grandmaster. So I have a video pulled up here, which is I basically made a video one-shotting every of the bosses available in the beta. And so this is the first one, Iceman. So we have Matador on this Iceman, which isn't too bad. Basically what Matador does is the opponent has to use a bar of power, and then you gain a bar of power, but you can't gain power through any other means. It's kind of annoying because you can't use like tech boosts or cosmic boosts or anything like that. We got heal block, so you're not going to be able to heal in this fight unless you can get rid of this debuff somehow. Like, I guess Nick Fury he'll purify all the debuffs here. I mean, it could be an answer. But ideally for this Iceman, you want to bring someone immune to Cold Snap, because enhanced energy attacks here, this is going to be a real pain. Energy attacks inflict 40% more damage. So I'm pretty sure that counts towards his Cold Snap as well, I think. And then we got some stun immunity and some protection shielding, so you're not going to be able to parry stun him or anything. And if the defender would lose more than 4% health from a single source, that damages cat, the protection shield shuts down for 8 seconds. So basically you want to bring someone who can get around Iceman's Cold Snap ability. Once you get around that part, it's just a stun immune Iceman with some Matador, and that's really not too bad. This Iceman is one of the easiest bosses. Ghost, I think by far, is the best option. Here we'll show how Ghost does real quick in this fight. So with Ghost, man, she's so good because she can shrug off the Cold Snap at the start of the fight. The heal block doesn't matter. The Matador is a little annoying, but it's fine. You can also just phase through his specials, not have to worry. You also have class advantage. Ghost hits hard already. With class advantage, it's really nice. And as you can see, there's really not too much to this fight if you're using Ghost, so I definitely suggest Ghost. I suggest Corvus as well. He could be a pretty good option. The health pool's a little big, but yeah, I'm sure Corvus would still be pretty good. Just bait. What you want to do in this fight is make sure you're baiting out his L1s, because that way you get more power. So yeah, just make sure you bait out the L1s. That's the best way to go, because if he throws an L2, you still only get 1 bar of power, so it doesn't really matter. L1s if you can. As long as you're good at evading it, you really shouldn't have a problem with Ghost. You don't even have to evade it, you can just phase through it. But yeah, really anyone that can get around Iceman's Cold Snap, and you should be alright. There's a lot of Cold Snap immune characters in the game now, so there's quite a few options for this. And man, just look at Ghost. She just tore it up, 69 hits. And he goes down. That fight, it went great. It's really good with Ghost. So the next boss we have is Thor Ragnarok. So let's take a look at this guy's abilities here. So, alright, let's scroll to the bottom. So we got Power Efficiency, which is basically power reserve just for the defender. So we don't get the power reserve, but he does. All of his special attacks are unblockable. We got some Prove Yourself, which is also kind of annoying. Some Aspect of Death. So as the defender activates a special attack, their successful hits become lethal for 4 seconds, plus 1 additional second for each knocked out members of the attacker's team. This really isn't, it doesn't really matter unless you get hit by an attack. So a special attack hit or a basic hit. You can still block in this when they have Aspect of Death. You can take blocked hits, you can parry, that's fine. But just don't get hit or you're dead. So be careful with that. Prove Yourself's a little annoying, but you get 15 hits, it's okay. The unblockability is not really too bad because the Ragnarok's animations aren't really too bad. I think there's one more node. Let's back up here. What was that other node? There's also Combo Shield. So the combo meter is not reset after being struck by an attack. That's fine. That doesn't really matter. But yeah, so the main things are here: power efficiency, prove yourself. With Thor already, his power gain is kind of annoying, so you can go the option of bringing someone to control this fight power gain wise. I used Dr. Doom and got a pretty clean solo on this Thor Ragnarok. I didn't include it in this video. I just used Ghost in this video, and you know, you don't need someone to control the power here. You really don't. You can play around this fight pretty easily. That's what I like about this fight. It's, you know, this one's more of a skill-based fight. You don't really need a direct counter, but you can bring a counter if you'd like. But you see, just time the power gain here. We turn it off with this L2. Boom, perfect. He throws the L2, and we're fine. And you just have to play around Thor's abilities, and it's really not too bad. Yeah, you can use a lot of champions for this fight. But Dr. Doom was a pretty good option controlling the fight with his power control from his L1 and his L3s. That's definitely one way you can go. I feel like Magic would be a pretty solid option here. Just really lock his power down, and you don't have to worry. You can there's a lot of ways to take this fight, and that's what I like about this fight. You know, it's not some BS fight where you can only do this or this. You know, there's a variety of champs that you can use for this one, and this one's really nothing too crazy to worry about, as long as you can evade Thor's specials. And you see, we're playing around it just fine with Ghost, and we do end up getting the solo. Let's skip ahead a little bit here, and you can see we're still at like 100% health. Everything is going just peachy in this fight, man. Just peachy. So yeah, just gotta stay on top of baiting out his special attacks and keep your distance from the unblockability and the death touch and everything like that, and you should be fine. So a lot of specials to bait out, but just keep on top of it. Right here, drop the L2 when it's at 18. The special attack turns off the power gain. You know, playing around it pretty perfectly. And he's almost dead here. Also phasing all those hits from his special 2 gives us more power gain, so that's nice. One more L2 should do the trick here. And there we go. So let's move on to the hardest boss, aside from the Grandmaster, of course, which is Darkhawk. There'll be a lot to talk about there. Alright, next up we have Darkhawk, which was by far the most difficult boss in the beta, because I didn't get to fight the Grandmaster, like I said. So Darkhawk really, just at his base already, you know, he's a very annoying defender, just as he is with his built-in abilities. And then on top of his built-in abilities, there's just nodes on nodes on nodes here. So let's break it down, because there is a lot to go over. So he starts with his Raptor upgrades. So upgrades to Darkhawk's Raptor armor enables him to start the fight in null mode. Additionally, while in null mode, Darkhawk's light and medium attacks are unblockable. So he starts the fight unblockable. Kabam loves to throw this node on any Darkhawk in any quest or an alliance quest. So yeah, super annoying. He starts the fight unblockable with his lights and mediums. Force of Will, the defender is immune to ability accuracy modification. So I believe that makes it so that, you know, like he can't be countered due to his robotness. So by Medusa and Arcus. That's what that node's there for. Then we got Hurt Locker, which using the same type of special attack twice in a row, giving the attacker a delayed, let's say, blast charge for 5 seconds, which may be removed by landing a heavy attack. If the blast expires, the attacker takes 50% of their health as direct damage. So Hurt Locker is just an annoying node. Can't use the same special 2 times in a row. And then we got even more nodes here. So then we have, look at that, another page of nodes here. Trial by Fire. If the defender is not struck within 6 seconds, the attacker receives an Incinerate debuff, dealing 25% of the defender's base attack as direct damage over 6 seconds. So if you're not being aggressive enough, you're going to get Incinerate on you. We've got Power Efficiency. The defender's special attacks cost 50% less power, which again is power reserve, but only for the defender. And then we have Lionheart. One of the defender's healing abilities would be reduced or reversed by a debuff. They aren't reversed. Gain 300% potency, and the defender deals 200% of their attack as direct damage to the attacker over 5 seconds. So going with Void won't work, but actually Human Torch's Nova Flames, it will work because they're not classified as a debuff. And then we have Spiked Armor on top of everything else, which Spiked Armor, whenever you crit, you take some direct damage. You've got to scroll down a bit more here. Yeah, 6% attack as physical damage is dealt back to the opponent. So that's just so many nodes here. One of the biggest feedbacks was about this Darkhawk to Kabam, and I told them like they need to just like tone it down a bit here, man. It is quite ridiculous. So who's the best counter for this fight? By far, 100%, Human Torch is the best counter that I found. And one thing to also note here is that Human Torch, back here, this was before I did the Abyss, so I'm actually way better at fighting Darkhawk now with Human Torch after all my practice in the Abyss. So all that practice is really going to come in handy in 6.4, I'm sure. That's what I love about the Abyss. I feel like it made me, I feel like it took my gameplay to a whole nother level. It just made me a lot better. But you can see Torch, he just gets around a lot of the abilities in this fight. For being passive, you get the Incinerate on you. That Incinerate gives us 2 charges, so that's great. And the Spiked Armor is a little annoying because we can't counter it with Human Torch, but it's not doing that much damage. Human Torch can, above 10 temperature, you can actually bypass missing, so he doesn't have to worry about that mechanic from Darkhawk, which is really, really nice. So you don't really have to worry about knocking him down. You can just keep baiting L2s to get him out. And actually, after doing the Abyss, you actually can reverse his healing with Nova Flames. You won't be able to do it with debuffs if that Lionheart node stays on. But yeah, hopefully Kabam take off some of the nodes on this fight because it's pretty crazy. Like, aside from Human Torch, I'm really not sure who some of the best counters are for this fight. There's just so much going on. It might just be, you take in some champs and you use some units and some revives and just take them down. But like, as far as a full counter, the only champ that really comes to my mind is Human Torch. He was the only champ I was able to get a full solo with, and this solo was my last run on this quest. It took me many attempts to do this and lots of practice. But like I said, now I am a lot better at fighting Darkhawk, especially with Human Torch. So I feel like now I'll be a lot better at this fight. But as you can see, we are reversing that regen through the Nova Flames, which is pretty cool. So yeah, Human Torch, highly advise him for this fight. If you don't have a Human Torch, I just slug him down maybe with Corvus or something, or Ghost, because she can phase the unblockable hit start of the fight. It's not going to be fun though. Like I said, with that ability action modification thing not being able to work, I don't think Medusa or Arceus will be able to lock him down because he's a robot. This fight, it's pretty crazy. I really hope Kabam does take it down a little bit when it's outside of the beta. But yeah, let's move on to the next fight, which is one of the easiest. So let's go there. Alright, what's up guys? So we're back and moving on to the easiest boss in Act 6 Chapter 4. Iceman's pretty easy, but Captain Marvel, if you bring in the right Mystic Champ, you can just kill her so fast. It is great, which you'll see in a second here. So her nodes are close encounters. While close to the defender, the attacker regenerates 1% of their max health. And while you're away from the defender, you degenerate 3% of your max health every second. Crumbling armor, if the attacker hasn't landed a hit in 6 seconds, they receive an armor break. Debuff, reducing armor by 250. This is I don't mind this node when it's not like on a Havoc or something. The armor break can actually just kind of heal you. But if you're not landing a hit, you're probably also degenning due to close encounters. So this node doesn't really matter a crazy amount. And then we have enhanced armor break, which, again, it doesn't really matter that much. Heavy hitter. This one's important, man. The heavy attacks are not interrupted, so whenever she heavies, she gains an unstoppable passive. So you really got to be careful with baiting out heavies against her. That's one thing you'll see in the fight. And then Captain Marvel generates 2 additional energy charges when she blocks, is struck, or activates a special attack 1. And then down but not out, when Captain Marvel is knocked down, she gains 3 energy charges. So that's just kind of to put her in binary a bit quicker. But so the key to this fight is really to bring in a Mystic Champ. So we're bringing in my boy Dr. Doom. I Doom 100% advise using him the most. I also soloed her with Clairvoyant and Symbiote Supreme pretty easily. Just bring in a decent Mystic Champ and you really shouldn't have a problem. You can see that Shock's dealing like so much damage. It is ridiculous. It's because Captain Marvel gets penalties versus Mystic Champs. So the other problem here is now I'm having trouble getting in attacking because of those unstoppables, but I nail a critical intercept right there. Go to my L3, and look at her health, man. We're 20 hits in, and she already lost 50% of her health. This fight has over like 500k health. it's ridiculous. All you got to do is bring in a good Mystic Champ, and you really shouldn't have a problem here. So yeah, we dropped this L3, and then we're going to go ahead and get to an L1, power drain her, and then we're going to get to an L2, and she is just toast. She's like burnt toast, man. So Captain Marvel, just bring in a good Mystic Champ, and you should be good to go. Nothing really too crazy on that fight. Alright guys, so we're jumping into the last fight that I can really tell you about from the beta, and that's the Hydra Adaptoid here. So this guy, he's one of my favorite fights. It's a pretty fun fight. So we take a look. He has 650,000 health, quite a bit of hit points. Let's go ahead and take a look at the nodes here. So he's got armor break immunity and limber. This is on 0.25 speed, and I skip by real quick. So yeah, you can't armor break him, and he has limber, so you're gonna run out of stuns. Gotta be a little bit careful with the parries. We also got vigor here, so every 15 seconds after the start of the fight, the defender regenerates 50% of base health over 5 seconds. The timer refreshes when the defender reaches intervals of 25% missing health. So you gotta be a little bit careful about that regeneration. We have some Matador. The attacker gains 1 bar of power every time the defender activates a special attack. This is the only way the attacker can gain power in this fight. We got some Unblockable, so all special attacks are unblockable here. Force of Will, the defender is immune to ability accuracy modification, so I believe that you can't like do the Medusa or Vision thing with this guy either. I think he's a robot, but with that, I don't know. With that node, I don't think it'll work to turn off all of his abilities and everything like that. But, so this guy's really interesting. This guy's really interesting. So with his L1, he throws a ton of them, and he gets Unstoppable and Power Gain buffs. So it ends up being a lot of L1s that get thrown in this fight. And pair that up with the Matador, actually, and it works to your favor. So basically, with the Matador, and the Power Gain, you keep baiting L1s, you keep getting power, and it's really crazy. So 2 of the best options that I found for this fight are Stealth Spidey and Captain America Infinity War. I got a solo with both these guys with ease, I'd say. I did it my first or second try with both of them. Got a solo. So yeah, highly recommend these 2. They're very reliable for it and can definitely do it. But also, really the only thing you have to worry about in this fight is the Unstoppable. That's the real issue. So every time he throws that L1, he should be gaining the Unstoppable, but because we have the slow debuff on him, we don't have to worry. So that's why Stealth Spidey's so good, just that slow debuff. His specials are really easy. There's just Iron Man, L1, and L2, and I'm pretty sure he does have a special 3 though, so you do got to be careful about that. But yeah, you just keep baiting these L1s, and you look at my power; it keeps going up and up. So Captain America also works great because he can nullify the Unstoppable, and he hits pretty hard. You know, Captain America is just another great option. So those 2, highly recommend. But also, you can go the route of just a good nullifying Mystic Champion, or technically, and it doesn't have to be Mystic as long as they have a reliable nullify, like Reed Richards could technically, theoretically do it. But yeah, I feel like Dr. Doom could be pretty good for this fight, you know. As long as you're nullifying those buffs, and Supreme could be alright for it as well. Just someone to deal with the Unstoppable buff. That's really the main issue here. And as long as you can get around it, the fight's not bad. It's actually pretty fun with the Matador. And yeah, so I'll probably be using Stealth Spidey, Captain America, or maybe Dr. Doom, or just someone to really bypass the Unstoppable. That's the real thing you got to worry about here. I don't really recommend like going with the Corvus to slug it down. He's armor break immune, and he's going Unstoppable, and yeah, I don't think Corvus would have too much of a good time here. See, I don't really recommend that. Really just want someone to deal with that Unstoppable. And as you can see here, Stealth Spidey is doing a tremendous job with that slow debuff. Just nothing to worry about. We're just intercepting. But yeah, this guy has like over 600,000 health. So he's a real beefy boy, these health pools. So those are all the fights that I can really go over with the first-hand experience that I do have from the beta. My thoughts on them. But we'll talk a little bit about the Grandmaster now. Alright guys, so we're back, and so I want to give a major shout out to Metal Sonic Dude here for making this video. It's basically breaking down the Grandmaster fight. I recommend, if you want to know more about the Grandmaster, to go check out this video. He has a part 1 and a part 2 about it. So he made a spreadsheet here of some of the best champions for the Grandmaster fight. And so the boss fight criteria: each champ, in order to be viable option for damage and or a solo, must have the following: access to a DOT, sustainability, mostly non-RNG based abilities, and decent damage. So the top dons that he has listed here are Captain America Infinity War, Doctor Doom, Thing with Fantastic Four, Namor, Nick Fury, Hyperion Warlock, and Omega Red. So some of these champions are some great recommendations here, and some other champions that are some options, but may not be for a solo, but still decent. We have Venom, Blade, Human Torch, Gwenpool, Domino, Galaxy 2099, Dr. Voodoo, and Clairvoyant. So yeah, if you'd like to learn more, go ahead, check out Metalsonic Dude's channel. I'm going to leave a link to this video in the description if you guys want to check that out. But that's going to do it for this, guys. I hope you did enjoy. I will be doing a Legends run for Act 6, Chapter 4, so be on the lookout for that. I'm not sure exactly quite yet which day, but probably Thursday or Friday. Should be on one of those days, or maybe Wednesday night if I'm feeling really rambunctious. We'll see. But one disclaimer is that this video was based off things in the beta. Things are subject to change, so some stuff may look a little different, but I don't think anything will be vastly different. I feel like a lot of information in this video will still be pretty useful. But that's going to do it for this video. Drop a thumbs up if you did enjoy it. Go check out Metalsonic Dude's channel. Subscribe if you'd like to see more content, and hit the little bell to be notified when we go live for the 6.4 Legends run, because trust me, it's going to be beast. Thanks for watching, guys.